guys, it's Haley, of course, because I'm on Haley's channel, and we're just gonna ignore the fact that my hair is sticking up in all sorts of terrible places and I look like I'm an exotic bird from like Up. Just call me Kevin from now on. And also a quick shout out to Louie, my camera, so my only friend, and it's actually a Canon Rebel T3i, and thanks to this bad boy you can see all of my acne in great quality. So today I'm jumping on the bandwagon and I'm going to be doing the my first time tag. This is not about sex. God knows I never have sexual intercourse. So actually I think that I deleted my first tweet, thank goodness, because I'm pretty sure I know exactly what it was, and it was to cheesycakes, who was like the entire reason I made a Twitter account, and it was something like, OMG, I love your vids. They're so great, GR8. Yeah. So I later found out that she actually has a video on her channel completely dedicated to the reason that she hates when people misspell and use terrible grammar on social media. So good job, old Haley, for deleting your terrible first tweet. My first video was actually cleverly called First Video, which later got taken down because like people in my neighborhood found it and were like bullying me and stuff, and I'm glad I took it down because it was absolutely terrible. It made no sense, and it was made with my brother's like first generation iPod Touch. But then I had the clever idea to do a remake of the video, which you can see right here, and I don't know why I would remake such a terrible piece of work, but I did. So the first person that I subscribed to on YouTube, as well as the first person that I followed on Twitter, was cheesycakes. Kudos, thank you to you, because you were the entire reason that I made a YouTube and a Twitter, so if it weren't for you, I'd probably be living under a rock somewhere next to Patrick Star. My first profile pic will be right here. It's very awkward because that is my hairdresser and she's actually holding onto my shoulder like begging for dear life. You know, her little claws are like going into my arm. Do I still talk to my first love? Actually, I tweet at Harry Styles all the time. He never really responds, so obviously there's still some tension in between the two of us, but we'll work through it. My first job, and it's the job that I have right now, it's honestly essentially babysitting, except for it's official because I go to a certain place every single week to do it, and I get an actual paycheck, and I have to write the hours that I work, so it's really just babysitting. You know, I still have kids that pee their pants and those kids that whine for their moms. My first car, it took me so long to save up for it, and thank you to my mom and dad for pitching in for it. I absolutely love it, and you can see a picture of it right here. My first grade teacher was actually my mom, because from like the second I was in school to like halfway through 8th grade, I was homeschooled. Those were the dark days when I literally was not social with anyone except for my family. I'm glad I'm in public school now, although public school is like run by Satan. My first airplane ride was to New York City when I spent like the Christmas holiday times there in 2009. It was such a lovely experience, and since I'm so BA, I was not even scared to go there at all. And then the second before we got on the plane, I started thinking of the plane crashing and all of us dying, and then I got really scared, but I went on it anyway. My first best friend was a girl named Katie, and she was actually 3 years younger than me, so the friendship started out kind of awkward, but we ended up getting so close to each other that when Katie's family had to move to a different neighborhood, my family decided to move right next door to them. My first broken bone was just an absolutely horrifying experience, which I know all broken bones are terrible experiences, but just let me explain to you the situation. So I went to a summer camp. It was great. And I was there for I think like a week, and on the second day that I was there, they made me go mountain bike riding, where the trail was literally like this thin, and if you fell off, you were a goner. And so during like the end of the trail, like literally at the very end of the trail, there was this huge steep hill with a bunch of boulders and rocks near the bottom of it. So long story short, my bike went off track and I ended up rolling with the bike, breaking my collarbone, having to like spend 2 hours just sitting there with a broken collarbone in the infirmary and then in the car. I got to the hospital and they told me, Haley, you can go home. Long story short, they didn't let me go home, and I had to tough it out for like 6 more days at a terrible camp with a broken collarbone. My first piercing were my ears, and I got them pierced when I was a baby because apparently my mom thinks that it's okay to poke holes into infants. My first detention was never, because unlike the party animal that I seem I am on YouTube, in real life I'm actually a goody two-shoes schoolgirl who would never in a million years backtalk to a teacher. My first roommate was my brother, and we kept arguing about what we were going to decorate the room as, and we finally decided that half the room would be decorated soccer for him and half of it would be decorated with Barbie for me. But by the time we finally finished arguing and came to a solution, my mother had already decided that the animal was not going to be decorated soccer and not going to be decorated Barbie, but it was going to be decorated with animals. The first sport I ever did was baseball, and I actually remember one time my cousin came to visit, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never get to see my family. I want them to think I'm super cool. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like hit this baseball, and if I hit it, then my coach will give me the baseball as like a prize, because they actually did that. And it turns out that that was actually like the worst game of the season, and I didn't end up hitting a ball at all. The first thing I do when I get home is eat, of course, because after being in hell for like 8 hours and having to starve myself because of those crappy school lunches that we were forced to pay $2.50 for, I just want to come home and pig out with warm, nutritious junk food. My first kiss was actually with this lovely creature who I'm still emotionally deeply attached to. My first word was dada. So clever and original. So guys, that's it for my first time tag, which is not about sex. Oh my gosh, so shocking. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all next week with a new video. On your way out, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on this video, and I will see you all next week.